Jesus like in the Gospels in terms of he's trying to bring people back to Torah, but Paul sort of makes it into a different religion. So I also believe that if the story that appears in the New Testament is true, then Jews should be ashamed for unaliving JC.
Well, JC
Absolutely.
didn't
What?
exist in the first. Well, he didn't exist in
No,
the
I
first
get it. I
place.
get it. No, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Assuming
Right, but you shouldn't. I mean, because then they're
no, no,
gonna
no.
feel like, oh,
Here, look.
well, he might have existed.
I'm making a
Uh,
judgment call. The
right.
Pharisees were wrong. Okay? And it wasn't the Romans who unalived Jesus, it was the Pharisees. Because according to halakha, like if you put someone in front of a train and that train just runs them over, you're liable for it. So this notion, like it wasn't the Jews, it's but only someone who doesn't know Jewish law would say something like that. That was wrong for them to do. I don't know a rabbi today who has ever said that because he wasn't liable to the death penalty. Okay, they were wicked for doing that, and on top of that, they handed them over to the Romans to do it, which is something that you're not allowed to do. So I don't know why. Well, I mean, I do know why, because it's affluence and boredom in Christian societies. It's is the Jewish people being bored and affluent in the safety that Christianity has provided for them, that has got them in an ungrateful manner to in some way raise their head up high now and saying, yeah, we did that, instead of being ashamed. Okay, this has nothing to do with believing Jesus is the Messiah or that story even happened, but they should hear that and say, God forbid we didn't do that, we would not have done that. There's many weird people who have existed in the Jewish world who had worse beliefs. I mean, Shabtai Tzvi, it was essentially the Sultan that arrested him. The Jews never stopped them. And this is something that people didn't know because it's hidden from the masses. The followers of Shabtai Tzvi believed he was God. They hide this from all the books because it shows how hypocritical they have been towards Christianity. Look it up. The followers of Shabtai Tzvi, yes, there are some followers, once he declared himself to be God, there are some followers who fell away. The vast majority of the followers of Shabtai Tzvi believed he was God. The vast majority of Jews followed Shabtai Tzvi, which shows that it's hypocritical to say that the reason the Jewish world disliked JC was because he said he was God. It's completely hypocritical.
It's almost
And
the
they
same thing with the Rebbe.
Well, I mean,
well,
there's a thing. There's
I
a
mean, it's a
thing
small
that.
segment. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I was just saying that like there's a thing like when you're. It's not good to give Christians the benefit of the doubt. I'm assuming you know history for sure, and we know that by using history that Jesus was a tool that the Romans wanted to use against the Jews because they couldn't tax them and because the Jews were arrogant in believing that their God was more powerful than the entire pantheon of the Roman gods. So, you know, this is historical fact, and
No, no,
by
no.
saying, hey,
I get it.
yeah,
I understand what you're saying. Here, look, I I agree with you on a grand scale. Like meaning on a grand scale, I don't think we should always do these thought experiments in front of everybody, especially people who are going to use it against us. But being that no one has said it, I want to go on record for saying it, okay? We should be ashamed. Well, first, I should be ashamed of not saying this sooner, that what happened to Jesus was a halachic injustice. Halachic injustice. But the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that like people shouldn't make fun of of Jesus anymore because he did tshuva.
existed,
How
but he
did he
did
do tshuva?
right.
What?
Yeah,
Well,
if
no, the reason he said that was was I mean I think he was referencing the Rambam here, that Christianity itself, because they brought the world closer to, they adopted essentially the first part of their Bible is our Bible, that they've sort of paid for their sins. So yes, I mean he's not saying that Jesus did tshuva. I mean, like, what would he have to do tshuva for? I mean, this notion that people walked around thinking that if someone felt that they were God incarnate, that this was a belief that automatically merited the unaliving penalty is made up. Jews believed the weirdest things, and like I said, even Shabtai Tzvi believed he was God, and the vast